Served for 35 years. What is wrong in giving them road, light and water?
He urged government to engage private professionals who are willing and ensure policies are not just formulated, but implemented and sustained.
Government is all about programs, but policy formulation, do you understand? When you formulate policy, being able to what? Implement. Implementation is not there. And continuity. Now, I take for instance the FISH program, the Federal Integrated Staff Housing Program for the Office of the Head of Service. It failed because they are not listening to the private individuals.
Hi, I'm Bob Weinsheng, CEO of iBuild Global. Keep watching the Housing Development Program.
Welcome back. The program is Housing Development. To boost private sector participation, the government must provide an enabling environment through incentives such as tax concessions and the elimination of bureaucratic bottlenecks in the land administration system. Mortgage reforms and efficient credit systems are equally required to maximize investment in the sector. Let's listen to these experts as they provide solutions on how we can encourage more public-private partnership in housing development. Take a listen.
I think the problem in Nigeria is we don't understand what public-private partnership means. It's not taking something free so you can make money. It is taking an asset and investing in it and using it to create wealth. So when you talk about public-private partnerships, it has to be something that grows the pie, not something that steals the pie. The way we do it in Nigeria is that you literally have a few people stealing the pie, and then the vast majority of us are struggling. That doesn't work. So in that way, I don't believe in the way we do it in Nigeria. But done properly, PPPs are the only way that you can catalyze the sector.
So as a company, we are huge believers in public-private partnerships. We are currently running 17 projects. Of those projects, I think about 4 of them are actually public-private partnerships. We're in partnership with Lagos State on 2 projects, with LSPDC and with Ministry of Housing. We have a development here that we are doing with Kano State Government as well, through the Housing Board and the pensions. So it's something. We also have partnered up with Kaduna State on a market, renovation and redevelopment. We also have worked in the past with Niger State. So we really believe that actually PPPs are a really good way to, I think, expand very quickly when it comes to housing provision.
Government has a huge role to play in PPPs. I mean, the first P is public, and we know that government policies have a big say in how these things are done. Most of the things that were said today are very important, like land acquisition, to make it easy for people to have access to good land in places that there's infrastructure. And if there's no infrastructure, that government provides the infrastructure. So the cost of infrastructure is not borne by the cost of the house. If the developer provides infrastructure, he will transfer that cost in the price of the house, and that makes the house unaffordable for the people that is intended for. So we expect also government policies in trade and tariff. So we're talking of duties, on a lot of things that we import for housing, to remove or reduce duties on those items, so that in turn we transfer these savings to people. We also want to see more synergy between the federal government's agencies, such as Family Home Funds, Federal Mortgage Bank, Infra Credit, Family Home Funds, those agencies that are charged with housing delivery, to be able to have a synergy for us to have a one housing policy that is being driven, all of us working towards one goal, which is providing affordable housing.
We don't have road, and you see, at times if it is raining, you will see a lot of people will go by the roadside. They'll be thrown dirt on the main road. We also doesn't have toilet. You see a toilet, you will still up to 30 tenants. They are using one. You can't leave your door open, go and buy something. Before you will know, Babambola will enter. By the time you will take them to police station, 1 hour is too much. The police people will release them. In fact, we don't know what is happening.
This is the situation with many citizens in not just Nigeria. Are we ready for this conversation? What is the plight of an average Nigerian citizen in regards to housing? Housing is a fundamental human right, and these issues must be addressed.
I'm Debbie Erb. I work for OPIC in the United States, and keep watching the Affordable Housing Development Program.
You're watching Housing Development. On incremental basis, cost of living crisis in Nigeria is escalating, and in more ways than one, it is impacting on health, finances, and access to basic needs of individuals, organizations, and families. Most affected are individuals and households living in rented accommodation who are now groaning under the weight of rent increases, especially in city suburbs where tenants are contending with over 50% rise in the past 1 year. Watch as Nigerians share their thoughts and experience on the rising cost of rent on Voices on the Street.
These days, they capitalize on this economic issue, this economic this that is going on. That is where they capitalize. They influence the price of rent. You understand? It is not now they build the house, but they too also they have something to do with money. That is why you see them. They escalate the price of rent, house rent.
It's becoming increasingly difficult for people who pay these rents. Like myself, I'm staying in a rented apartment, and I also have an office. Both increase the rent by 100%. Both landlords. So you can't, even negotiation self, there is no room for negotiation. It's either you pay the increased rent or you move out.
Government should do something, because what we are passing through now is getting out of hand. See, the issue of house rent, like the area I'm staying now, you can't get, is in the village, you can't get a house of 300,000. The place that we were paying 150,000 is now 400, 500. So people are crying a lot. Some people are moving to village, and moving to village is not even helping issue because nobody have anything in that village. So please, we are begging a government to do something about it.
When everything is high, to build house is high. The rent is still high because of the building materials area make the rent get high. Everything is high for a poor man to live. It's just by grace of God.
Either we'll pack out or we'll stay. We should pay that things are cost. Things are cost. You know that those people they are struggling before they eat. You are increasing house rent for them. Either they live, they stay, or they leave. It's not. And another person ready to enter.
Rent is not. I will not say it's their fault 100%, because the rate at which everything now is rising, food is increasing, so everybody need a means of surviving. And the reason why most of them increase rent, maybe when they renovate the house, like maybe there's no water and they fix borehole, they make it comfortable. So it's them increasing it for the comfort of the tenant and for their own gain also. So it's equal, 50-50.
Voices on the Street there. Moving on. Internally displaced persons residing at the water camp in Abuja have decried the poor condition of the camp, blaming the situation on government neglect of the camp. The common complaint of IDPs in different states across the country is that they have been abandoned by the federal and state government. The situation is not different at the Wasa IDPs camp, which is one of the many IDPs camps established in different parts of the FCT, located behind Apo village, just after Waru and Kabusa. Housing Development crew paid a visit to the camp. Here is our findings. Have a look.
The Wasa IDP camp is one of the resettlement camps established in the Federal Capital Territory with over 5,000 internally displaced persons. The IDP camps in Wassa in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, is another tale of displaced Nigerians suffering from different forms of neglect, including lack of potable water, toilet, and schools. A major complaint of IDPs in different states across the country is that they have been abandoned by the federal and state governments. This situation is not different at the Wassa IDPs camp, which is one of the many IDPs camps established in different parts of the FCT. Speaking to Housing TV Africa, the chairman of Wassa IDPs, Jeffrey Bitrus, lamented that the living condition in the camp has been on steady decline for years, with various governments showing little or no concern. He raised concerns that the current economic situation in the country had made living unbearable for residents in the camp.
We are jobless here. Honestly, if there is a way government can help us, we will appreciate. We came here, we made this government resettlement estate in Wassa. So we have been here since 2014. We are living in this house. And up to now, our place is not peace there up to now. So we can't go back. If that is so, government can help us to provide houses to us, we would appreciate it.
Other residents in the camp took their turns to voice out their opinions to Housing TV Africa, lamenting the living conditions in the area and how difficult it had become to live under such conditions.
Our camp, truly we are living in peace here. The major problem, the challenges of life right now. We are facing a lot of challenges. You know, everything go high. And also we don't have anything to buy something in the market. Some of our people, like elderly people, they are not working. They are facing a lot of challenge pertaining feeding. We are living in these abandoned houses. We are living in these abandoned houses, and also sometimes FCDA people, they are coming to disturbing us. They want to reverse the house and let us vacate inside the houses.
Abinda muna roko gwamnati ya mana a wannan waje. Gaskiya muna cikin problem da yawa. Dun babba anan yaran mu ba mu da makarantar secondary school ma yara. Kuma in rashin lafiyan da ya zo serious ba asibitin da zamu iya mu je mu yi dun ba mu da inda zamu iya mu je asibiti a cikin gari a fi karfin mu. Kuma inda muke zama dun muna tunanin shi sosai a kanmu saboda tunanin da muke wani lokaci ana zuwa a ce mana ana son wannan waje kuma ba mu da inda zamu iya mu je, muna nan har ya kusan shekara 10. To sai muna gan in zamu je wani waje ma zai kawo mana wani sabon rayuwa ne. To shine muna neman gwamnati ya taimaka mana da muhallin inda zamu zauna.
Further exposing the glaring state of the living conditions in the area, the issue of hygiene and nutrition stands tall among the challenges being faced in the camp. A first-hand assessment shows that residents are suffering from different forms of neglect, including lack of potable water, toilet, dilapidated houses and schools. Considering the plight of the residents in the area, urgent government intervention is needed to solve the escalating issues of living conditions in the area.
Hello, my name is Casey Arrest. I'm the Executive Director of the Centre for Affordable Housing Finance in Africa. We're based in Johannesburg, South Africa. Please keep watching Housing Development Programme. It's a great show.
We do hope the relevant authorities are watching and will come to the aid of the internally displaced persons residing at the water camp. The program is Housing Development. I will be back after the break. Good to know you're still tuned in. The 18th African International Housing Show, a unique one-stop event for construction industry stakeholders, real estate developers, furniture companies, home decor and technology manufacturers, as well as suppliers, building material manufacturers as well as suppliers, is slated to hold from the 22nd to the 25th of July 2024. Africa International Housing Show is the largest housing and construction exhibition and conference in Africa. Plan to be there. Now here are testimonials from exhibitors that attended the last Africa International Housing Show.
Yes, I must say it has been great because a lot of people have worked up for partnerships, a lot of people have worked up for questions, a lot of people have worked up because they want to get land or houses from us, and they'll be like, oh, property vault, we've not seen you guys before. So I believe this is a very good platform because we are now out in the market. A lot of people that don't know us right now, because this is a place where thousands of people, since yesterday, we've been collecting contacts, people have been walking up to our stand, and I must say it has been very great.
We have like around 130 leads, contacts that we'll talk to, and we hopefully they will generate to leads. So I can say it's been a fruitful outing. It's been a wonderful time to network, to talk to companies, to talk to brands, talk to individuals. We've gotten a few people that we've already sent quotations to, and we're looking forward to doing business with. So we are sure it's going to be a good time.
We are meeting some people. They wanna be a partner with us. We are discuss for business. I think we will find good partners here. We came for that.
A man who has a roof over his head tends to be more productive, and that is why Housing for All is advocacy on this program. Glad you had a great time. Let's do this again next week. Until then, I remain your housing diva, Fleur Annie. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news. When the city is getting too loud, you need a home. Home is love, peace, and tranquility. Home is Housing TV Africa. Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news.
Would you like to be a part of the groundbreaking initiative shaping the future of housing in Africa? Join us for the 18th edition of Africa International Housing Show, ARHS, the continent's largest housing and construction expo, with a legacy of excellence spanning 17 editions. AIHS stands as Africa's largest platform for showcasing the latest in housing and construction innovations. Join us for a dynamic showcase featuring product presentations, exhibitions of cutting-edge building technologies, home interiors, construction equipment, mortgage services, and much more. Meet the market, engage in interactive forums with industry leaders and stakeholders from various countries, participate in matchmaking, breakfast meetings, and B2B sessions. Don't miss out on this opportunity to network, collaborate, and drive positive change in the housing sector across Africa. Save the date for AIHS, where opportunity meets innovation. Register and book a stand today at Africa International Housing Show, coming up this July 19th to 25th, 2024 at International Conference Center, Abuja. Visit www.africahousingshow.com to register or call +234 816 657 0090. Be there.
My name is Roland Abonta, a former president of Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, actually the 23rd president in our nation, Nigeria. Housing TV Africa has done greatly well in terms of publicity, in terms of promotion of the housing sector in our nation and in Africa. I want to say kudos to the television station. God bless you. And keep watching Housing TV Africa. The start time 1:49.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing development broadcasting. Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news.
It is important to note that a landlord who wishes to eject his tenant for whatever reason must give him a valid quit notice. This implies that a landlord must give his tenant reasonable time to quit the premises in his possession. The quit notice must be written and served to the tenant. The type of tenancy is determined by the method of payment of rent agreed to by the landlord and the tenant. Tenancy at will or weekly tenancy, a week's notice. Monthly tenancy, a month's notice. Quarterly tenancy, a quarter's notice. A tenant who pays for his rent annually is known as a yearly tenant. At least 80% of Nigerians who are tenants are yearly tenants. A yearly tenant is entitled to 6 months notice to quit. At the expiration of the notice to quit, a yearly tenant is entitled to an additional 7 days notice, which is a notice of the owner's intention to recover possession. If the landlord fails to issue the above stated notices, he cannot validly eject a yearly tenant from the premises. Therefore, when a landlord intends to discontinue the habitation of a yearly tenant on his premises, he is at liberty to issue a notice to quit 6 months before the expiration of the tenancy, and thereafter a 7-day notice of the owner's intention to recover premises. Where he fails to do so, an ejection by means of self-help or otherwise is an abridgment of the rights of the tenant under the tenancy law. In certain situations, tenants sign agreements that prescribe that they should be ejected without notices. This is, however, not good for the tenant. That is why every tenant wishing to rent a premises must carefully read the tenancy agreement. One thing must be emphasized: the law will give effect to the agreement between the tenant and the landlord
It honors agreements between parties. That is why a tenant cannot claim that he never understood the terms of the agreement. Ignorance of the law affords no excuse.
Mistakes tenants make when renting apartments. Not asking for a tenancy agreement. Once the rent is something large, demand to have one. Then, let all parties sign it. Landlord, tenant and witnesses. And don't forget to keep your copy. Not reading the agreement. Once you finally find the perfect apartment, it can be tempting to sign on the dotted lines as soon as the landlord hands you the lease. Don't, because signing a legal agreement you haven't read is a recipe for disaster and may come with financial penalties. Not seeking the hidden. Read your contracts yourself and ensure that there are no hidden charges for you to pay. Not calculating relevant dates. How long is the tenancy? Do you have the option of renewal at the end of the year or years already agreed upon? If yes, when is the renewal date? And how much notice do you need when determining the tenancy agreement?
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news.
In order for a town to be fully functional, it needs amenities such as roads, water networks, schools, hospitals, and proper town planning. As we in Abuja can see, areas such as Maitama and Asokoro have these amenities, but what about the often forgotten satellite towns? Well, Housing Development wants to hear from the people. What do inhabitants of satellite towns really need?
I live at Jahi district. The area is still underdeveloped. There's not much tarred road there. You know, most times when it rains, flood used to disturb around that area. So it's still very, very underdeveloped. So they should look at developing those areas so that it will help the people around and the citizens to measure up.
I stay in Masaka houses. We don't have good roads. We don't have good hospitals. Even we move there, even the schools are there. They are not developed. We are inviting the government, the present government now, to come and help us.
I live in Waru after Apo Mechanic Village. We don't have roads, no water, no lights. We need government to come to our aid on this issue. The only health center we have in that place is functioned when they come for an inspection. If the thing is not working, we need government to come to our aid in this area.
I stay in Lubwe. The town is a bit developed, but not that developed because the lights are not that constant. And the transportation there are cheaper to compare to some other places like Maitama, Gwarimpa, Sokoro. In terms of developing it, I think they should try to increase in the light giving. As in they should give a better light there in Lubwe, and also to make it, as in to bring some companies around there as well, to make it more developed.
I live in Nyanya, area A extension of Nyanya. It's okay, but just one major fault there is we don't have good roads there. The roads are bad. The bulk of the people that works here in town comes from that place, and you know, let's just give them a better life there.
We've heard the plight of those living in satellite towns. Let's hear from town planners to see how this matter can be quickly resolved.
We encourage all state governments and local government centers to have both their small towns and their big towns planned. Because with planning, you'll be looking at water resources, that is issues of water, school, healthcare clinics, education and so on, being placed in the strategic places where inhabitants can coexist easily in a lively environment.
There should be more plans for our settlements. For now, most of the states, there are no plans guiding their fiscal development. As a result, that's why we're having these issues of flooding and other disasters. So if we have plans for our settlements, I think we'll go a long way to have a kind of orderly development as well as economic growth.
Most of the satellite towns have had master plans. But because of the influx, they now came and overstretched what is available and have gone to the areas where it has not been planned and they start settling. So it has turned out to be like a slum. Government therefore can be proactive in getting that's why I started with planning. The city or the satellite towns planned an infrastructure in place. You will avoid what you now see in our satellite towns. We are saying that come up with slum upgrading, give people titles to land. If they know that they have secure tenure, and I want to assure you this, the moment the person that is there in a slum area is assured of a secure tenure, you will find that he builds a house that is commensurate to what you are having in the city. Not that they don't have the money. Sometimes they are afraid of getting it demolished because they know that that place is not planned.
Housing Development Program, your usual encyclopedia on housing matters.
So, as you can see, no town can be fully functional without the basic accessibility of water, light, and well-paved roads. For housing development, I'm Nkechi Ndukwe.
Decent, affordable housing is important to families. Certainly, it fulfills a basic human need for shelter, but it also contributes to the well-being of both parents and children. Decent, affordable housing reduces stress, toxins, and infectious diseases, which leads to improvement in both physical and mental health. But without electricity, humans cannot completely enjoy a decent and affordable accommodation. Electricity is fundamental to housing needs, but unfortunately, Nigerians' multi-decade-long electricity problems have remained persistent in recent years. Truth, however, is that more Nigerians lack electricity than can be imagined. People suffer in silence without complaining. Without electricity, one cannot experience comfort in a home, so this is a major necessity in every home. Housing Development went into the FCT metropolis to speak to some Nigerians on the power situation in their areas.
Not fair enough, because other country that does not even have what we have and they are enjoying electricity 24 hours.
I would say fair. It's not been too regular. Sometimes they are on, but it's not reliable.
To me, although that's where I live in Pape, the electricity issue, nothing to write home all about.
They take the light, but they bring it back within minutes. But maybe if it rains, that's when maybe they can take it for like, maybe let's say the whole day. But at night, they usually bring it. But if there is no problem, we normally have lights.
However, the people have urged the government to look into this situation with effect to the provision of meters to each home, enabling them to know the exact unit at which power is being consumed.
The issue of metering is very important, so that they too can recoup whatever they have invested, and they should ensure more transmission of power, especially to those that are residents in FCT.
I advise the government to increase power supply, electricity supply, because there are areas that don't have like.
There are 4 buildings that just use 1 meter, so they brought like 300,000 naira bill for us. For just 1 month, the best thing is for us to use meter, so we can regulate the amount of light we use.
Instead of sitting down one place doing nothing, let them go out, do researches, find out, go to the local areas, go to the local places, go and look at what people are facing. They don't give you lights and they still give you bills. If you are not using the lights, then where is the bill coming from? People can't even feed yet, and you are telling them about electricity that you are not even seeing.
Electricity is vital to comfort in every home, because when people experience comfort in their homes, it translates to national development. It is hoped that the new administration would look into this issue.
They told us to pay 100 and something thousand on NEPA bills for light we have not been using for almost a year.
I stay in Lugbe, precisely car wash.